Hey guys, I think you're gonna really love this video because I'm giving you a hands-on look at the future of Hyundai, but more specifically the future of Hyundai's N Division. Now, as you know, Hyundai N is the performance arm of Hyundai, kind of like BMW M or Mercedes-Benz AMG, and I'm here in Busan, Korea, where they just unveiled the next two N cars, well, prototype N cars. And the reason I'm starting with this race car, which is actually the Hyundai N 2020 Vision concept, which was introduced back in 2015, is because this car kind of foreshadows what I'm about to show you. This was a race car concept that was hydrogen powered. Of course, hydrogen cars are electric cars, and it kind of signaled the way that Hyundai was planning on taking the brand, specifically the N brand, to the next level. So I'm not going to waste your time. Let me show you, without much further ado, that car right there. Yep, that is the new Ionic 6, but more specifically, that is the Ionic 6N. This was just unveiled today here in Korea, the Ionic 6, and this is the car built on the eGMP platform, and if you recall, the Ionic 5 and 6 are built on the regular GMP platform, but this is the new platform. Now, this is, of course, a prototype, so you might be wondering, will it ever go into production? And Hyundai says that eventually the goal, of course, is to hopefully build this and sell it. But if you're curious as to what an all-electric, all-wheel drive N car from Hyundai would look like, this is it. And this is not the coolest car here because the next car I'm going to show you gets even cooler. But they just unveiled this and they're very proud of the fact that, of course, it has not one but two of these electric motors, all-wheel drive, like I said, with torque vectoring and perhaps even a drift mode. Here's some braking calipers, here's some of the technical specifications, but they didn't really go into power or 0 to 60 times. This, like I said, is a working concept, and to me it looks much more production ready than just a prototype. And you can tell it's obviously a race car because it kind of, take a peek in there, you can see the roll cage. This is perhaps the future of Hyundai, but if you recall, I said that there was even a more interesting car, and that is right here. And that is just mind-blowing. That is the N Vision concept. And there's an interesting story behind this car. It's called the N Vision 74 because back in 1974, Hyundai actually developed a car, or at least they tried to develop a car that they wanted to open to the world that was more of a performance car, and that car, because of a lack of an engine, never got built. It was called the Pony Coupe car, and then recently Hyundai went back into their archives and basically took the Pony Coupe concept and applied it to this. Now, this is, of course, very 70s in a much more modern take on that car, and under the hood, like I said, showed you that hydrogen car is a fuel cell. So this is a hydrogen powered car, and it's super interesting. It's rear wheel drive. Potentially it could be all wheel drive, but under this hood is a fuel cell. Back here, there are two canisters for hydrogen, and of course, two electric motors that power the rear wheels only at this point, and then a big battery. And Hyundai says that they are aiming with this vehicle for a range of, get this, 600 kilometers and a 0 to 60 speed of 4 seconds, which is very fast for a hydrogen-powered car. And if you know anything about hydrogen-powered cars, you'll know that the only thing that comes out of the exhaust is water. So there you can see it on the road. You can see kind of it next to the Ionic 6N, and this is the future of Hyundai performance, and they're very proud of the fact, and deservedly so, because I mean, look at this car. It's, you know, it's mind-blowingly good looking, especially some of the details here. So let's kind of look at those. You've got these pixel headlights with that kind of overarching brow, which gives it very purposeful, very angry look. Then of course you've got this massive splitter at the bottom, which looks like it's important aero bit on the vehicle with the 74. I love that feature. That's pretty good. And unlike the other hydrogen powered car at the beginning of the race car, it doesn't actually say Hyundai all over it. It does say so on this wing right there. So you can see the Hyundai logo right there. But that is really the only place where Hyundai has, well, there's actually, shouldn't say that, there's one other I noticed Hyundai badge, and that's right there. And of course there's the big 74. And this seems like a designer feature more than a functional feature. And if you look very carefully, you'll note the wheel covers, which are very WRC, and of course the classic, and I love this, Coke bottle shape, right, where you've got this beautiful arching front and rear wheel design, which creates a sense of purpose. And I think that they've done a really good job in taking a car that might look almost too 70s and turning it into something that looks modern and hip and cool and angry and purposeful and fast and everything that you want a sports car to be. So obviously you might be wondering, is this car ever going to see production? And once again, they're saying this is a prototype. It's a car that they're using to hopefully at some point create into a road-going car. And you know, there are challenges ahead. Fuel cells don't produce a lot of power. One of the things they said, which was interesting, was that this car has the ability to overboost the battery using the fuel cell. Usually the way that fuel cell hydrogen cars work, there, the inlets for the hydrogen, is that the fuel cell charges the batteries, which then power the wheels. But fuel cells don't put out a lot of power. I think in the Nexo, we're looking at about 150 horsepower out of the fuel cell at most, you know, which then charges the battery. So how you go from a fuel cell like that to a car that is capable of 600 miles, I guess the two hydrogen tanks in the inside would be a great way to start. 600 kilometers, sorry. And you know, a 0 to 60 time of 4 seconds, especially in a car that's only rear wheel drive. Well, that's something that's going to be yet to be determined. So for all of you Hyundai fans out there, this is definitely a car that, if I was 10 or 12 years old, would end up on my shelf of cool cars. And it just shows you how far Hyundai has come since, you know, let's say the last 10 years, because you can see a lot of the old N cars, or at least old N race cars, from the Veloster to now this, which to me looks a little bit more production ready. We're certainly in a brave new world here in Korea, and Hyundai, with both of these cars, is showing that they are now more than capable of matching the likes of BMW with their M division, Mercedes with their AMG division, and stepping up on the world stage to become a leader in electrified performance cars. And make no mistake, these cars are meant to go on the track. They do have some, I think, branding issues. There's like 3 pillars, I'll show you this, that they want these cars to be, and one of those pillars is the corner rascal. I suspect that means it should be good around a corner, but yeah, maybe corner rascal seems like a cartoon character more than a performance car. But hey, you know what? It's mighty impressive nevertheless. Guys, as always, this is Roman reporting from Korea. Thank you for watching, and go to alltfl.com if you want to see the production version of this and see actually what it looks like. And I'm not talking about the N, I'm just talking about the Ionic 6 and all the other cool cars that I've spotted here in Korea. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Ciao.